think we're good. I can never tell with these live videos. Like, you probably saw some cheese on my chin before. What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Full Blast. I am your host, Raja Burrows, and I saw a tweet today that a friend sent me, and it kind of blew my mind because it's a concept that I have I've talked about sort of obliquely, but I love the clarity with which this tweet really pinpoints the core issue of something I've been struggling with, something I've seen a lot of OP community members struggling with, and quite frankly, I've seen this across the board with anybody whose life is about or is in a community that's about self-improvement, whether it's self-growth, whether it's entrepreneurs, whether it's fitness, whatever it is. And the term is emotional hustle culture, which when you put it together like that, you're like, oh yeah, okay, you can absolutely tack on emotional to hustle culture, and it just reframes this idea of doing emotional work on yourself through the lens of hustle culture. Great, I love it. But I want to talk about the tweet itself and break down a little more concretely what not only what is happening, but what we can do about it, both on a personal level as well as a more macro level, I guess, right? Tuck this guy in. Here we go. Okay, so the tweet is from Rachel Brady is the woman's name. She says, emotional hustle culture tells us that healing is a 24/7, no days off process. And if you aren't showing progress, you're not working on yourself enough. There is a distinction between striving for growth and mistaking time plus access to self-improvement resources as morality. Okay, there is so much we need to unpack there. So let's just start right at the beginning. Just break it down step by step. Emotional hustle culture tells us that healing is a 24/7, no days off process. Okay, so I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense in a number of different contexts, because we do understand that like hustle culture is about that like 24/7 grind. Unless you're sleeping, you should be working on something to move yourself forward, to achieve what you want to achieve, whatever it may be. So I think that parallel is really, really key. And where I think that the first really damaging part of this idea of emotional hustle culture comes into play is this part about if you aren't showing progress, you're not working on yourself enough. Okay. So in reading this tweet and sort of thinking about this tweet, I've come to appreciate and understand non-emotional hustle culture a little bit more fully. Because with normal hustle culture, whether it's entrepreneurial hustle culture, fitness hustle culture, although weirdly, for the better, the fitness world has moved way far away from the bro-y hustle culture that it was, honestly, even 5-ish years ago. So I think that's great. Fitness has been doing a really great job lately. So like, yay fitness industry in a number of ways. But yeah, thinking about, again, the more business professional side of hustle culture, entrepreneurial stuff, even just like being part of like the corporate system or making being a professional YouTuber, content creator, whatever it is. There are a lot of really clear metrics that you can set for yourself to show that you are working on shit and to show that you are at least putting in the effort to move forward with whatever it is you're trying to move forward with. So for example, I just joined TikTok and I've been making little TikTok videos. And again, as I mentioned in the previous video, I'm still finding my niche. I'm still figuring out like what I really want to do on this platform and like how to really marry this whole, the medium is the message with the message that I really want to send and put out there and sort of where those two intersect. And lately I've been doing these reactions to thirst trap videos where I make a little, it's sort of like a little Vine scenelit sketch of the intro is like a thirst trap video of like a super hot chick doing something flagrantly sexy. And then my tag on it is something that makes a joke out of it or is perpendicular or is something unexpected. That's what I've been doing lately. Is it particularly highbrow? No. But it amuses me to no end, and it's just fun. I think it's funny. I think it's funny as hell, and it shows off my sense of humor in a really, really specific way. And so, in some sense, like that's one of the things that I've been working on lately. And so every time I make a video, you can see on my timeline that I made a video. Now, a lot of these videos don't get a lot of views because I started out doing personal growth stuff and the account authority. There's a lot of algorithm shit that I'm still working through and figuring out, but I also don't really care because I just love making these dumb little skits. They're fun, they're silly, they're very positive. They are weirdly wholesome in a lot of ways, and earnest. I don't know. I love doing these little dumb videos. And the reason I bring all of that up is that doing all of these videos and having that, going through the process of figuring out what I want to do comedically is very, very invisible. Like you can't see my process. You can't see my process of like when so now at this point, because I've done these videos and I've stitched these videos and I made these videos, I'm now, my feed, like half of them are just like thirst trap videos. But what you don't see is all the thirst trap videos that I watch, and I'm like, there's nothing comedic here. There's nothing for me to improvise off of or riff off of or to make into a sketch. You know, and it's not that there isn't something there, because you can make a sketch out of anything, I believe. But there was some that, like, there was one where it was like, you know, hot blonde on a golf course doing like a like sexy whatever the fuck dance. And so I made a little sketch about like, listen, you're gonna be the best, you know, professional golf cheerleader or what, because she happened to be on a golf course, right? That is the result. You can see that I made that video, but you can't see everything that I did to sort of go through and filter and be like, no, I don't know. Next, pass. There's nothing here. I can't make it. Ooh, okay. Okay, so there's something. The next video I have, it's like a woman with like a foxtail, and it's a like, oh, if you see this, then you know what's about to happen. And so I'm trying to figure out how to make a sketch where it's that, but treating that like it's a windsock for a microphone. I don't know. But my point is that all of this stuff is all, you never see it. You only see the result. But unlike emotional hustle culture, in real hustle culture, in entrepreneurial, creative, external, fitness, whatever hustle culture, you can see the videos on my page. You can see the work that I have been doing progressively, right? You can see that. because it's on my page. It's all there. So because of that, I don't have to ever worry about justifying to anybody, myself or others, what I'm doing or what I'm going for or what I'm trying to do or anything like that. I don't have to justify a thing because the proof is in the pudding, or in this case, on my TikTok page, right? But with emotional hustle culture, what metric do we have? We have no way of measuring how much progress we've made. At the gym, I know what my weight is. I can take my body fat percentage. Hell, my girlfriend showed me pictures of like my bicep and how it has grown over the past several months, and like I can see that. It's like, oh shit, my bicep, it's not doing much today because it was cardio day. But you can eventually, you'll be, that one's a little more defined there, right? Like I can see that my bicep shape looks different now than it did a couple of months ago. I can see that. It is sensory clear that there is a difference, that I have made progress. How can you tell if like a book you're reading or listening to or work that you're doing, you're doing the artist way, Julia Cameron morning pages, how do you know if that's working, if that's helping? You don't. There's no, when it comes to self-growth, there's no metric. There's no way to really quantify the work that you're doing. And the reason I think that it's so insidious and so important to understand, let's open up the thing again, is because you're not getting those little micro energy exchanges, right? You're getting this like slow, really slow burn energy expenditure. And then at some point, you will slowly start to get energy back. But all of that's really hard to quantify and measure, and it can feel really sluggish. And you might be getting energy from somebody, but they don't know how to express it, or they're not picking up on it, or the energy you're giving off and what you're moving into, your cohort isn't responding to because they have different priorities. Like, it's so fucking nebulous. And, because hustle culture in general demands proof in the pudding, it demands that you show progress. It's really easy to fall into this trap of you're not working hard enough. And then the second part of this tweet that I really love, there's a distinction between striving for growth, yes, Hondo P, and mistaking time plus access to self-improvement resources as morality. Yo, fucking boosh. One of the big issues that I've had, and it's one of the reasons that I left woke culture, it's why I left, mostly left the political discussions and social justice, anything. It's because there was this moral component that got layered on to everything. Whatever work you were doing inherently had a moral component to it. And that's fantastically exhausting. The light, what the light's going to do what it's going to do. That is fantastically exhausting, to be in a position where you feel like you have to make a moral judgment on everything all of the time. And I keep going back to the fitness industry because there isn't really, I don't feel any sort of moral judgment one way or the other in all of my time in the fitness industry. it always has felt like, at least in the past 5-ish years, that there are so many different body types. There are so many different versions of healthy bodies that simply showing up to the gym, you've already won. You have already like done the thing. And now your only job is to have fun at the gym, be at the gym doing something. That's it. That's your only job in life. And I really, really love that because there's no expectation to A, prove that you have been to the gym because you're at the gym. That is, people can see you doing this. You know that you're doing, like it hits the DE and the DI both, right? Or honestly, even if you're just doing it at home, you have the DI there, but every at-home fitness anything has some sort of community component. There's some community portal. There's some fitness. If you want the DE, finding DE stuff is just not hard. It's just not hard in the year 2021. And so, but there's no moral, like there's no, oh man, we're better than other people because we work out. No, that just has not been anywhere near my experience in any of the different fitness cohorts I've been a part of. It's always been, you guys are fucking awesome for showing up, but without, and occasionally, and very, very rarely, and always in a very go you kind of way, this feeling of like, you are awesome for showing up and putting yourself out there and, being in this spin class and pushing yourself. Not a lot of people are willing to do that, and I appreciate that you do. It's never it's not like you're a better person. It's very much about the task at hand. The doing the task is awesome without not doing the task. Like there's no flip side. Not doing the task is not, man, those fucking moral degenerates who don't go to spin class. No, because that would be ridiculous. But yet for some reason in the self-growth world, there really is, there seems to be a strong incentive to make it a moral thing and to make it about the good people who are working on themselves and the bad people who aren't. And it really is something that I have struggled with, not only in the activism community, the arts community, the academic community, the OP community in a lot of ways. Just, I don't like that there are so many incentives to make personal growth a game about morality and a game about being a good person and not being a good person. And in some ways I get it, because it is a very politically charged landscape that we're living in right now. And there are a lot of privileges that a lot of people, myself included, have taken for granted for a very long time. That, I think we could always do a little bit better about being grateful for things. I don't think that that's a particularly novel concept. Basically every spiritual philosophical discipline, hello, Gamma Quadra, has talked about being grateful for the present moment and grateful for the abundance that to which you have access, and to deepening that sense of gratitude and appreciation and building that into your day-to-day life. I see very, very little danger going down that road, going down the road of a little more gratitude. I think it's hard to fuck that one up. Not impossible, but I think it's hard. But there's so much now where it's like, whether it's playing a particular video game, like right now. So Blizzard, the company Blizzard, is in a lot of hot water right now, like class action lawsuits, like big stuff against them for toxic work culture and just a lot of like really bad shit that management knew about and overlooked, and just really really horrendous stuff has come to light. Well, if you play StarCraft or World of Warcraft or Overwatch, like, playing that game is a moral decision. It is now I am either a good person. Like, I got a buddy who is an enfranchised World of Warcraft player, and he's like, well, I guess I don't get to play Warcraft anymore because I don't want to be associated with Blizzard in any way, shape, or form. And I'm like, oof. Incidentally, this is bad enough that I'm like, yeah, I give you shit for dying on a lot of hills and always playing the FI game, but in this case, yeah, I think that's fine. I think you are not out of line. This is really fucking bad. But when you start applying that kind of morality thing to personal growth, you're running into real problems. You're running into problems because now we're talking about, okay, well, I have access to the OP community. I have access to the holistic psychologist's Instagram page. I have access to James Nestor's Breath and Atomic Habits and Gabby Bernstein, Super Attractor, or the Kevin Hart book that I love, The Decision. Having access to these things is not there's no morality in it. That's just access to resources. And there's no having access to those resources and not using them is also not a moral failing. And we don't need to be layering on this component of I'm a good person because I'm choosing to work on myself. Work on yourself because you want to work on yourself. Work on yourself because it makes you feel better to work on that's the only reason to work on yourself is to enjoy the process of working on yourself. For instance, I just downloaded Duolingo because I want to learn Japanese. Duolingo is not my favorite way to learn a language. Like, I can't even really speak a lot of Japanese. Like, even just now, like I've talked to people about this and I was like, can I just say a sentence in Japanese? And I'm like, not really. It would be it's very clunky. So I guess okay. Watashi wa eigo go hanasemasu. I think that's a sentence. I think I just said I can speak English. But again, it's very rusty. My footing in Japanese land It is not automatic. I do not speak Japanese. And then where did I go? Oh, but I like learning it. I like going on the little app every morning for half an hour in the morning before I go to the gym. And I like to play the little game and to get the little boosts and to slowly learn a little Japanese and to start to feel a little more comfortable and get my ear. I just like the process of working on myself. And I don't really care that I can or can't speak Japanese. Like if you said to me, hey, Raja, tonight at 8 o'clock, you're getting on a flight to Japan, to Tokyo, and you have to be in Tokyo for a month, I'd be like, oh shit. Okay. Then I would actually like have to learn it. And then I would care about being able to like say things, off the top of my head beyond like konnichiwa and arigato, like being able to say actual sentences. But for right now, I don't really give a shit because I like working on myself. And I think there's no moral component to it. There's no, well, I'm becoming like more cultured because I'm learning Japanese. No, fuck that. What? That's preposterous. That's ridiculous. And I encourage all of you to think about any sort of growth, any sort of process as needing to be enjoyable in and of itself. The working has to be rewarding in and of itself. Because if doing the work is not inherently rewarding, you got to find something else. I started out with Chinese, actually. And I realized, first off, it's a tonal language, and trying to learn a tonal language on an app without having that back and forth is fucking impossible. So I was like, this is not going to help me. But after doing it, I did it for about 20 days. I think it was like 22 or whatever. And I started doing it, and I was like, I don't enjoy the process. I love ancient China. Like, I love ancient China. But I was like, I don't enjoy the process of learning this language. And so the result is going to be, I won't care. But I'm learning Japanese and I'm doing more because I like the process, because I just like doing it. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying in my last video. If you like showing up to wherever your place of work is, you will accidentally make progress. Whether you want to or not, if you just keep showing up and you like showing up, you will make progress. I remember this was back in 2000. So I was in 8th grade at the time, like 1999 into 2000. I was playing a lot of Magic the Gathering because I was 13 and there was a card place that was near me and I got to go and it was good socializing, whatever. And I'm just going to play Magic every week. This is well before there was any sort of online way to play Magic. I just got better just by playing. Like there was no any, like you just got better because I liked showing up. And I think that when it comes to personal growth, we have to look at it in the same way. That it's the showing up. If that isn't enough, then anything that comes as a result of it will not be meaningful. And I think a lot of the reason that we have to attach, or we feel incentivized to attach this morality component to it, is because I think that there is a lot about the personal growth world that is less fun than it could be. And that we recognize like, oh, this shit isn't like the process isn't enjoyable. So the only way to get people to stick with it is to add the morality component. And I think it's very dangerous. I think you're going to burn out. I really do. I burned out. I'm not saying that everybody will, but I understand enough about how burnout works to be able to recognize when you have to add sugar, right? They say, okay, so a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down, right? That might have been necessary in 1930. I don't, when were the Mary Poppins? I know the movie came out in the 60s, but like the original stories, right? Yeah, we didn't, like, medicine tasted like shit back then. We did not have the technology that we do now to make medicine taste good. So sure, a spoonful of sugar, that might have been a necessary coping mechanism. But nowadays, I want to question the premise of needing that spoonful of sugar. Can we just make the medicine not taste like ass? Like, is that a thing that we can do? And I think that when it comes to personal growth, I think it's worth looking at, is this medicine harsher tasting than it has to be? And then, without getting too conspiratorial about it, it's the old Chimera Bellerophon issue, where it's like, I'm going to punch you, but then also sell you a bandage to make the bruise heal. Like, wait a minute, no, motherfucker, you're the one who punched me, and now you're going to sell me something to heal from the thing that you did? No, fuck you, bye. I just don't need to get punched, and I'm not going to. So fuck you, bye. So all of this is to say, leave me a comment below, because I'm really curious of how other people are seeing the personal growth world right now, because I think that there is a lot of toxicity in this industry. And I think that we're layering a moral component onto it as a way to justify being abused by it. All right, that's all I got for today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, because I really do like personal growth, and I love psychology, and I love I love all this shit. But I'm done with this, with any kind of abuse. I'm fucking over it. I'm done. I don't need it. You don't need it. This shit needs to be fun and delightful in and of itself, regardless of how good of a person it makes us. Like, I don't know. I think it's a problem. I think it's a problem. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Be sure to like and subscribe. As always, I love you. I see you. Now let's do the damn thing.